to identify normal bony landmarks seen on X-ray. So starting with radiological anatomy. First of all, anatomy is the study of structure of organism and its part. And when this study of structure of organism occurs by using radiological films, it is called as radiological anatomy. Radiographs are an essential element in clinical diagnosis. X-rays were discovered by a German physicist Wilhelm Conrad in 1895. There are several different views of a radiograph. They are the AP view or the anterior-posterior view, the PA view or the posterior-anterior view, oblique view, and the lateral view. Anterior-posterior view. Anterior-posterior. Anterior is front and posterior is back. So the view is taken from front to the back. When an X-ray is taken with the back against the film plate and the X-ray machine in front of the patient, it is called an AP view or the anterior-posterior view. Posterior-anterior view, that is from back to the front. When an X-ray is taken with the chest against the film plate and the X-ray machine behind, the patient is in a posterior-anterior view as opposed to the anterior-posterior view. Then we have an oblique view. The central ray passes through the body part, which is an angle to the transverse plane or the coronal plane. Then this is the lateral view, in which the central ray passes from one side of the body to the other through the axial plane. You could see the lateral view of the chest showing the trachea, scapula, sternum, vertebrae, and the ribs. And on the other hand, you could see the lateral view of the wrist joint and the hand. There are two types of radiographs, the plane radiograph and the contrast radiograph. So when we say it's a plane radiograph, we could say this is a plane radiograph, that is when a picture is obtained of internal structures by passing X-rays through them. It is a simple type of X-ray in which only the X-rays pass through them. Whereas in case of contrast radiograph, it is a method of studying organism using X-rays and the administration of a special dye called a contrast medium. So the contrast medium is injected in this procedure to visualize the structure or the organ. Radiographic appearance of the upper limb. This is the anterior-posterior radiograph of the shoulder joint. So first of all, you could see the humerus. Since it is a shoulder joint, so shoulder joint is formed between the humerus and the scapula. So first of all, you could see the head of the humerus, then the greater tuberosity and the surgical as well as the anatomical neck of the humerus. Then proceeding to the scapula, you could see the acromion process, the glenoid fossa, the coracoid process of the scapula. In addition to it, you could see the lateral border of the scapula since it's closest to the humerus, so it is the lateral border, and simultaneously you could see the medial border of the scapula. In addition to these two bones, you could also identify the clavicle and the first rib. So this is the AP view of the shoulder joint. This is the anteroposterior radiograph of the elbow joint. Since elbow joint is formed between the humerus, radius and the ulna. In the lower end of the humerus, you could first of all see the olecranon fossa. Then you could visualize the medial epicondyle, the radial fossa, and the lateral epicondyle. You can also appreciate the capitulum present on the humerus. Then we'll come to the radius. You can see the head of the radius, the neck of the radius, and the bicipital tuberosity. And in case of ulna, you could see the coronoid process of the ulna. This is the lateral radiograph of the elbow region. You could see the humerus, the ulna and the radius. You can recognize the radius with the head of the radius, the neck of the radius and the bicipital tuberosity. Then you could see the coronoid process of the ulna and the olecranon process of the ulna. In humerus, you can see the lateral epicondyle of the humerus and the lateral supracondylar ridge of the humerus. This is the posterior-anterior radiograph of the wrist and the hand. Since it is the radiograph of a small boy, so you could see the bone of the carpal bones dispersed. In the next figure, we could see the view of an adult, and you can see the change, the difference between the two X-rays. In this, you could see, first of all, recognize the radius and the ulna. Then you could see the carpal bones, the fifth metacarpal, the proximal phalanx, the middle phalanges, and the epiphysis of the phalanges. This is the posterior-anterior radiograph of an adult wrist and hand. Since it is the view of an adult wrist and hand, you can see the carpal bones. They are so composed against each other. Whereas in the previous figure, you have seen that the bones are dispersed. So first of all, the wrist joint. Wrist joint, you can identify the radius, ulna, and the carpal bones. And this is the head of the ulna, the styloid process of the ulna, and the in radius you could see the styloid process of the radius. Then we have the carpal bones. In the carpal bones, first of all, you could recognize the scaphoid. Then you have lunate, then pisiform, triquetral. In second row, you can see the trapezium, trapezoid. Then we have hook of the hemate, capitate, and then you can see the triquetral. In addition to it, you could see the first metacarpal, a sesamoid, small sesamoid bone is also present over here. Then we have distal phalanx of thumb, proximal phalanx of little finger. This is the lateral radiograph of an adult wrist and hand. In this, you could first of all see the carpal bones, then you could see the metacarpal of thumb, the proximal phalanx, the distal phalanx of thumb. In the index finger, you could see the distal phalanx of the index finger, distal phalanx of the little finger, the middle phalanx, and the metacarpals, which are superimposed on one another. This is the posterior-anterior radiograph of the wrist with the forearm pronated. In this, you could see the radius and the ulna. Then you could see the carpal bones. Among the carpal bones, you could see the lunate. Then you could see the scaphoid, and you could see the capitate, trapezoid, trapezium, the pisiform, hook of the hamate. You can also see the fifth metacarpal and the first metacarpal. This is the lateral radiograph of an adult wrist and hand. In this, you could see the distal end of the radius, the scaphoid, lunate, pisiform, trapezium, fifth metacarpal, the distal phalanx of thumb, and the fifth metacarpal. This is the transverse axial magnetic resonance image of the upper part of the right forearm. In this, you could see it is basically a cut section. You could see several muscles like the flexor carpi radialis muscle. Then you could see the flexor digitorum superficialis, the median nerve, flexor digitorum profundus, the ulna, basilic vein, extensor carpi ulnaris, extensor pollicis longus, the interosseous membrane, cephalic vein, the radius, flexor pollicis longus, brachioradialis, radial artery, and superficial branch of the radial nerve. Thank you.